You realize Beyoncé just gave me one of those looks. And he said that Rihanna young lady, she's a monster. And she turned away right. And I resembled so I did a Rihanna two-fold take. She was evidently Sovereign Ba who was liable for getting her dropped Rihanna's ascent to fame. Came out of difficult work and karma, as well as in light of the fact that Beyoncé had something to do with its subsequent to having the option to quietness her opposition, as consistently the Carters can represent the moment of truth you. And for Rihanna's situation she was made, while the unfortunate Beyoncé clone's music profession crashed before it took off. So back in 2005, a youthful Tara was endorsed to Jay-Z's Rockefeller Records. And the young lady was, however skilled as she might have been staggering, had only 17 years of age. Under Jay-Z's administration, Tara delivered the melody, encouraged her from her most memorable collection. And the tune promptly turned into a hit like the title of the melody. It truly encouraged her to see her presentation tune climbing the graphs, and a significant number of her fantasies were materializing. I really intend what could be preferable over having Jay-Z father your venture, as well as the distinction of being known as the Princess of Def Jam Records. While the young lady's fantasies were fleeting, and at the grandstand, there were two craftsmen playing out. She is Tiara Murray, and she's a truly sweet young lady. And truly I was giving somewhat more consideration to her than I was to peruse around a similar time. A youthful Rihanna was endorsed to Def Jam Records close by Neo. And since currently the bona fide princess of the record mark was Tara Rihanna, a migrant from Barbados, had no potential for success against her more planned label mate, and the organization was focusing harder on Tara than to Rihanna. Now this immediately changed when Sovereign Honeybee concluded she preferred Rihanna more, and she had the option to change the elements from having Tara as the princess of the name to having her casually dropped off the name. You realize Beyoncé just gave me one of those looks. And he said that Rihanna young lady, she's a monster, she turned away right. And I resembled so I did a Rihanna two-fold take. This was affirmed in a passage from Le Reed's journal. Seemed to me my account of making music, viewing as wizardry, and looking for who's next, where the record chief uncovered that he and the name thought between the affection and hip-jump Hollywood diva Tara and Rihanna that TT was the greater star, yet Sovereign B had him re-examine things. Reed remembered that in the wake of marking Rihanna, Jay-Z and his group did the A&R for her most memorable collection. And he didn't have anything to do with it, since he had not heard her sing, but rather had heard Tara sing. So I surmised to pick who between the two young ladies the organization planned to zero in on. The organization had an in-house feature, and Beyoncé turned out to be there with Jay-Z, Crown, Marie, Rihanna, a four-young lady bunch called Dark Butterfly, and Neo. Played out that day, Reed said at the name we figured Tara Marie would be the huge star. We invested more energy in her, accomplished more work on her, and focused harder on her. Rihanna previously had a hit with Pondera Play, yet we actually thought it was the other young lady. A chime went off for me anyway. When after the feature Beyoncé came dependent upon me, that Rihanna young lady, she said she's a monster. And that is all Beyoncé needed to say to influence the leader into taking a gander at Rihanna. And the next year, in 2006, the name called Tara to tell her she was discharged. No legitimate correspondence or sack letter, just a call in all probability made by Staffland's wrongdoing. Nothing that we are aware of, despite the fact that it was claimed that she was excessively near Jay-Z and Beyoncé. Could have done without that. It's miserable that she was deserted by a man she viewed as a mentor. And she expressed that Jay himself never let her in on she had been released from the organization. She said Jay-Z didn't call me to let me. I know if the situation were different, Tara could have been the Rihanna of today, or a major Tara, since the young lady had certain ability flooding in her. So how about we simply say the level of Tara's popularity was from 2005 to 2006. And since that pivotal and Beyoncé's words, she's been a striving craftsman with only one hit notwithstanding, I think. She had another great tune called Chase, After You, that I don't know anyone knows to add a front to the unfortunate young lady's physical issue, her confidential tape, with her exact bar surfaced on the web. And Terry blamed the person for scheming with his dear companion rapper 50 Penny to release the confidential tape. She even prosecuted the case. Yet tragically, the adjudicator tossed her case through the window, expressing that Akbar and 50 Penny were guiltless of the charges. And as though the world was messing around with her, it didn't stop there. The court requested her to pay 50 Penny an eye-watering amount of $30,000. Ask me how a broke craftsman would raise that sort of sum to pay a foe, which he didn't have a mark to back her up any longer. Now one more craftsman that was purportedly additionally hushed by the Carters was Blue Cantrell, perhaps of the greatest name in ARB, in the mid-2000s, who was keeping Beyonce's honest tracks like Hit 'Em Up Style, Oh No, and Inhale shot up the diagrams in the US and passed. Yet following quite a while of progress, the vocalist vanished from the public eyes. So what ended up Di Cantrell because of her undeniable gifts? When record names heard a voice, more than 5 of them battled to have her sign with them. And ultimately Blue consented to sign with Arista Records. She then delivered her most memorable single, Hit 'Em Up Style Oh No, in April 2001. And it was a quick stirred things up around town. Not just arrived at number 2 on the announcement Hot 100 yet, it likewise procured her a Grammy designation for Best Female R&B Vocal Execution. Pretty fair for her very first single. The achievement went on for Blue that year with the arrival of her introduction collection, So Blue, which was insured platinum. And fortunately for her, she was all good the entire way through 2003, which she delivered her second collection mixed, which incorporated the hit single Inhale, highlighting Sean Paul, and procured her second Grammy selection this time for Best R&B Collection. Now, amidst all her prosperity, Blue was continually played with bits of hearsay that she had a serious quarrel with Wiz Beyonce, who at the time had quite recently sent off her performance vocation, with the collection hazardously enamored, and was in the beginning phases of her relationship with Jay-Z since Blue had a dear fellowship with Jay, and was delivering graph-beating R&B singles close to a similar time as Bass Begin to. It was inevitable before the murmur began when inquired as to whether something was happening among her and Jay-Z. Blue generally demanded that there was nothing happening among her and Jay. However, she did once confess to Wendy Williams that she had eyes for him. I actually have a keen interest in him. Now she spilled, it doesn't matter to me who he's dating. I generally had eyes for him. It appeared Beyonce could have done without Blue having a keen interest in her sweetheart, and Blue didn't assist with quieting the fight, which was filled considerably further when she called attention to the similitudes between her tunes. And Beyonce's addressing the gatekeeper, she noticed that the music video for Beyonce and Jay-Z's melody Bonnie and Clyde looked really like the promotion for her tune Gathering, which came out first. Beyonce herself enlivened the bits of gossip about their quarrel when she murmured in the melody, "Signs I was enamored with a Sagittarius, I've been wounded by a Pisces." And would you trust me assuming I let you know that Jay-Z is a Sagittarius and Blue is a Pisces? Blue likewise heard the murmur, since she cautioned perhaps she's attempting to do it to get squeezed, yet I need to cause her to comprehend, assuming she goes there with me. It's some unacceptable move. She wants to.